Welcome back to Python Basic series. Today we will be learning loops and iterations, specifically for and while loops. Also we will be looking at range functions. So do watch this entire video. All you need to know about loops and iterations in Python will be covered in this one single video. With that note, let's get started. Welcome to ASA Learning. In this video we will learn how to use for loop, while loop, break and continue statements, nested for loops and also range functions. And now let us consider we have a list here, ASA list, which has three elements A, B and C, and we are going to iterate this list using for loop. In Python, using for loop is very simple. For I in your list, we are going to iterate for each and every element in this list. And the syntax is you are going to close it with colon as you did in conditional statements and give enter. So this leaves an indentation or 4 spaces. So if you miss indentation, you will have indentation error in Python. We can print each and every element inside this list. And so it will print each and every element in this list and iterate through it. And so this indentation tells you that the print statement belongs to the for loop. And now let us run this cell. You will get all the 3 elements iterated one by one. In the same way, let us iterate a string. It is again the same for S in, let us take ASA Learning as our string, and you're going to close it with colon and give enter. So it will give the indentation. So if I print S, it will iterate the complete string one by one. So you can see it has iterated the complete string. And now let us see the usage of break and continue statements to alter the loop. Let us take the same example, and here let us introduce a conditional statement. So if S contains letter R, I'm going to give break. So the question is, what does this break do? So if your string contains the letter R, so it breaks the loop and it will not iterate further. To understand it better, let us run this. You can see it has printed till LEA and then it has not printed the R because we have given the break statement here. So once the string contains the letter R, we will not further iterate it because we have introduced a break statement here. The same applies to continue, but there is a slight difference. So when you use the continue statement here, so instead of break, I will give continue. So if your string contains the letter R, it will not print that letter and it will continue for the next iterations. And now let us run this cell to see the differences. We will get ASALEA, but R is not printed, and you can see the further iterations are printed because we have given continue statement. And this is the major difference between continue statement and break statement to alter your loop. And next we are going to see is nested for loop, which is nothing but for inside a for. We have 2 lists here, letters and numbers. So letter we have 3 elements A, B and C, and numbers we have 1, 2, 3. What if you want to print A1, A2, A3, B1, B2, B3 and C1, C2, C3. So you want all these combinations to be printed out. To do it easily, we will use nested for loop. So you want the combinations of the first list along with the second list. So we will introduce a for loop for the letters first, and then we will introduce a for loop for numbers, and then we will print out both these combinations. For X in letters, for Y in numbers. So we have for inside a for loop here. Now let us print X comma Y. So this should give you 3 into 3, all the 9 combinations, and this is the usage of a simple nested for loop. You can see here we have printed all the combinations of these 2 lists, A1, A2, A3, B1, B2, B3 and C1, C2, C3. And now let us use a for loop with else statement. This is really special in Python because in other languages you don't see it often except 1 or 2, but here we can have an else statement along with our for loop. So instead of R, I'm going to give Z. So this letter is not present in our string. So what we are going to do is, we are going to write an else statement. Let's print not found. So once you are out of your loop, the else statement gets executed. And now here, instead of printing all the elements, I'm going to include this in our if statement itself. It means once you are out of the for loop, the else statements gets executed. So if I run this cell, you will get not found being printed here. And hence in Python, you can use else statement along with your for loop. And now let's see the while loop. It is really simple in Python. The same syntax as you followed, which includes colon and indentation. So while A is less than 5. This is the condition which I am setting here, and we have to end it with colon and enter. And again, this indentation is important. when you're writing a statement inside your while loop. And here, let us print a and increment it by 1. So when it reaches 5, it will come out of the loop. You can see here it has printed till 4, and when it is 5, it is not less than 5, so it has come out of the loop. So in Python, it is really simple to write a while loop. You have to follow a colon and then indentation. And again, you have a special case while loop with else condition. So if the condition is no longer true, it will execute the else statement. And for this, we will use the same set of lines. And then we can use an else statement. Let us print by saying end of loop. And you can see here, once the condition is no longer true, the else statement gets executed. And then we have a very useful function in Python which is called as range, which generates a sequence of numbers for you. Range of 6 gives you numbers from 0 to 5. And it starts from 0 and ends at 5. But you have to typecast it as a list in order to print it. So I will typecast it as a list. You can see here the sequence of numbers which has 6 elements starting from 0 till 5. And we have typecasted it to a list containing 6 elements here. And this range function takes 3 arguments, which are start, stop, and step size. So consider you want to print all the odd numbers between a specific range. For example, 1 to 10, you want to print only the odd numbers. And so the start number is 1, and the last stop number is 10. The step size is 2. So what is the step size? You're going to increment the start by 2. So it will print 1, 3, 5 and so on. Let us typecast it to list and see the output. And hence it gives only the odd numbers because we have given the step size as 2. And do note that the step size can also be a negative value. For example, but here instead of the start as 1, I'm going to give it as 10 and the stop value as 1, and the step size instead of 2, I'm going to give it as -2. And here the step size is negative, so it will start from 10. So if I run this cell, it will print 10, 8, 6, 4 and 2 because we have given a negative step value in our range function. We can also see another example. Consider you want to print multiples of 4 till 60. So your start will be 4 and your end will be 64 and the step size will be 4. So if I print this one, you will get a list of 4 tables starting from 4 till 60. That is how we use range functions. And do note that you can use the range function in your looping statements as well. This is where it comes in handy. Say you want to print only the even numbers in a specified range using your for loop. So for a in range of, so the range will be starting from 0 because you want to print only the even numbers. Let us say the end is 10 and the step size is 2 and we have to end it with colon and give the proper indentation for the for loop. And here we are going to print each and every element. If I run this cell, I will get all the even numbers in this specified range from 0 to 10. And a quick recap, we have seen how to use for loop, how to iterate a string, how to use break and continue statements. We have also seen an example of nested for loop, while loop, and using else statements with our for loop and while loop. We have also seen range functions which generates a sequence of numbers with start, stop and step size. And I guess I have covered all that you need to know about loops and iterations in Python. I hope you all find this video useful. Give a like, comment your queries below. I'll try to answer all your queries. And do check out the Python Basic Series playlist and Explained in Minutes series playlist given in the description below. More Python Basic Series videos are coming soon. Subscribe to ASA Learning and hit that bell icon. See you all in the next video. Take a pound.